The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 789. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Winnie Mak, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's the founder of One Dear World, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Winnie Mak. Winnie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, I'm Sheena. I'm really happy to be invited to your podcast. I'm Winnie. I am originally from Hong Kong, and I'm now living in London, and a mum and also founder of One Dear World, a doll company with diversity and inclusion in mind.
Thanks for sharing that. And Winnie, what is your cultural background?
So I'm Chinese from Hong Kong, and my husband is half French, half Greek, and having this multicultural family together and our son 4 years ago gave me a lot of food for thought about what sort of world I want our son to be in, and that's why I think diversity and inclusion is such an important message to teach children from a young age, and that inspired me to create One Dear World.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great what you're doing, promoting diversity and inclusion, especially for children at a young age, because it's something that's totally needed in this world. So thanks again. And Winnie, what would be your definition of self-confidence?
I think self-confidence is something that we build up over the time based on what we have done positively that fulfilled our mission of our life. I mean, whichever mission one define themselves. So for example, to me now is like my family, my business that kind of fulfilled my call to promote diversity and inclusion is the most important value and things for my life. So when I have done something positively in that towards that direction, I feel more confident. And of course, if I make a mistake, then I learn along the way and become better. So that's how I see self-confidence, because I think nobody know everything about a topic from the very beginning. So when I became a new parent 4 years ago, I know nothing about how to take care of a baby or how I should deal with a toddler. But I think like every other new parent, I just learn along the way and build up my confidence in becoming a parent along the way.
Thanks for sharing that. And Winnie, what was your life like before you discovered self-confidence?
I think my life was drastically changed since I made the decision to leave my hometown, Hong Kong, and come to London to start a new chapter and to explore the rest of the world. So before I came to the UK, I was born and bred in Hong Kong, studied and followed a very static path of life, graduating from my university and then applied for a job in a Fortune 500 company and sort of following the career path and climbing slowly up the corporate ladder. So that's what my life was before I came to the UK. And I didn't have a clear definition of what self-confidence was back then, if that makes sense. So before I came to the UK, I didn't really have a clear definition of self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. And what was that moment in your life when you realized you can go out there and be who you are today, especially creating One Dear World? What was that aha moment that gave you the confidence?
I was inspired to create One Dear World when I was having my maternity break. So there was one time when I took my son to a playgroup, and there was one time a teacher took a jar with a caterpillar in it into the classroom, and one mom started panicking. And I mean, personally, I'm not scared of caterpillar as such, but that moment made make me think what actually make different people and initiate certain emotion towards certain things. Because for me, I'm not scared of caterpillar or spider as such, but somebody might have. So that made me think that we actually have a lot of value and perception installed in us since very young age. And I think it would be great for children to learn about different cultures and our differences so that they are more open to diversity and our differences when they grow up.
Thanks for sharing that. And because of those realizations, what's your life been like now?
So after that incident, that made me think about what children should learn in diversity and inclusion, and having done some market research on minor ethnic dolls in the market, I was inspired to create One Dear World and made a collection of multicultural dolls for children, both boys and girls, to feel represented in toys, and at the same time for children to learn about others from a young age. Because, for example, where I grew up in Hong Kong, 96% of the citizens there were Hong Kong Chinese, and I wouldn't have played with or have a friend with an African background when I was a kid. So I think it would be important for children to get to see other people and see other people who look different and see them as friends so that they can embrace diversity as they grow up.
Thanks for sharing that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think for women on their journey to self-confidence, there's nothing to stop us from asking for help. I think that's a very important thing to bear in mind. So, for example, I have recently launched a crowdfunding campaign to produce a collection of dolls to represent different disability. And then I have a funding goal in mind, but unfortunately, with a lot of positive feedback and interest from the media, for example, BBC, ITV, or Evening Standard, I didn't manage to achieve the funding goal I have originally set myself. So I was actually feeling quite depressed and sad for some time, but that doesn't stop me from fulfilling my goal and keep going. But that gave me a good lessons on go out there to ask for help, and also to review your own situation from time to time and readjust the strategy based on your value and vision. I think that's the best advice I would give to any woman on their journey to self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing those great tips. And I love how you mentioned to ask for help, because as Asian women, it feels like it's shameful or it's a sign of weakness when we ask for help. But really, we can't always do everything alone. So it's really necessary to ask for help when needed. And we have the tools and resources out there that we can use to seek that help. So thanks again. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, sure. So my website is www.onedearworld.com, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with the same hashtag and handle One Dear World, ONEDEARWORLD.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Winnie, you can also head on over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Winnie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Winnie today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Winnie.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.